Hi everyone and welcome back to Stand Up Workshops. Talia and I are back here today with our new series looking at specific issues which we have started discussing with you in our last workshops. Just as a quick reminder, last time we delivered a number of sessions looking at discrimination as a whole with a focus on our expertise, which is anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim hate. We spoke widely about this idea of how people are protected here in the UK by looking at the Equality Act. And one of the important questions that we addressed last time, or you actually addressed, is why are people racist and defining racism? Some of the most interesting answers we had was influence within the household, generational ideas. We also had ideas about influence of power, leaders having specific views that may influence the public. Another really important point we had is peer pressure, information that people maybe are fed at school by others, etc. But actually, one of the points that keeps circulating within our sessions and young people are really passionate about is this idea of the influence beneath specific communities. We thought this point is really interesting to delve deep into, and we want to find out your thoughts and your ideas based on this point. So we've created this series specifically looking at bias in the media and the way that it reports on specific issues surrounding specific communities. So to start our sessions, we just wanted to clarify some keywords. So as you need in every single session, just a pen and a sheet of paper. I'm going to pass it over to Talia.
Brilliant. So before we kind of delve into the news, we need to think about, as Zaynab said, specific terms, specifically when it comes to how we express our opinion. So whether that is with our voice, whether that is in a newspaper, in a book, in a tweet, we need to think about how we are able to express those opinions. So in the UK, we have freedom of speech, which is fantastic. But what is freedom of speech? How do you define that? I want you to pause the video now and write down your definition of free speech. And welcome back. I hope you got those definitions written down. So freedom of speech, very simply, as you can see on the screen, is the power or right to express one's opinions without censorship, restraint, or legal penalty. It's fantastic. It's something that we're so lucky to have in the UK. It means that you can like any television show, you can practice any religion, you can express your opinions even on politicians, on the country's policies, on a whole range of issues, and we have the freedom to do that. However, there are limits to that, and actually we have something in the UK known as hate speech, which is the opposite of free speech. And just like you did with free speech, I want you to pause the video now and define what hate speech is. And welcome back again. So hate speech is when your language becomes abusive or threatening, and specifically expresses prejudice against a particular group. So maybe that's on the basis of their race, their religion, their sexuality, or their gender, anything of those 9 protected characteristics of the Equality Act. And actually, yes, we have freedom of speech, which is fantastic, but that does not mean that we can be abusive or threatening or harmful to other people with that speech.
Talia, sometimes I get comments, not just from young people, but also adults, about this particular area being grey and unclear. We can say anything we want, we are protected, but at the same time, there are things that we can't say. So is it possible to get maybe an example of how you can distinguish between the two?
Definitely. So I've got a bit of a funny example. I've used cats, as in the animals, and I hope that this helps because it can be really confusing. So an example of freedom of speech. So I think that if too many cats move to the UK without the government providing adequate support, it will be really bad for the country. So this is freedom of speech. I'm concerned that there's an influx of cats. Are there enough vets? Is there enough supply of cat food? Is there enough kind of laws and regulations into people keeping cats? Which cats are they allowed to keep? Which cats are they not allowed to keep? So protecting endangered species, for example. This is an example of free speech. However, where this would become hate speech would be if I said this: I'm going to find every disgusting cat in our country and make sure they never return. I'm directly inciting hate on that specific community of cats, and saying something that's really harmful. What you can see from these sentences is that really you could remove cat and replace it with any community, any kind of group of people. And I think that this is really helpful to distinguish when free speech can turn into hate speech.
Absolutely. And I also think an important point is that we have the right to free speech, and this is a really important right that I think people should express and feel empowered by, which is why we've just have further clarification based on the law here in the UK. So alongside the Equality Act, as we said, that protects people for different aspects of their identity, and it becomes illegal to make kind of abusive comments, your free speech is actually protected by the Human Rights Act of 1998, which states that everyone has the right to freedom of expression, which is really important. But actually, with hate speech, there are also laws which make it clearly illegal. So we've got the Public Order Act of 1986, which says it is an offence for a person to use threatening or abusive or insulting words or behaviour that causes or is likely to cause another person harassment, alarm or distress. Now, it's really important to note that with kind of new issues surfacing, kind of groups facing different types of discrimination or that's manifesting in a different way, these laws are also updated to ensure that people are protected in the right way. If we think about the law, the Equality Act in itself, as we said, it's continuously being updated to ensure that kind of new types of discrimination that surface are tackled and dealt with accordingly.
Yeah.
We want to actually put your knowledge to the test with a last activity, a really snappy one, to see whether or not you can use the knowledge you've just learned to identify which statements would be regarded as hate speech and which would be regarded as free speech. So thinking caps on and let's go for it. So the first statement, go for it, Talia.
I think the borders in the UK need to be strict, need to be regulated, and strict rules should be imposed on who is entering the country. Is this an example of free speech or hate speech? Let's get those answers in.
And 3, 2, 1, it's actually free speech. This is just a person kind of stating, I would say, a political and a kind of a personal opinion about a matter that concerns them and others.
I think what's really important to remember is that the laws that you just showed before doesn't limit us from having a political opinion. You can still have a political opinion. It's just about whether that opinion is harming another group of people. So this is an example of free speech, whether you agree with it or not. Next example.
So we've got an interesting one. Vegans should not be allowed access to regular supermarkets. Do you think this is free speech or hate speech? And also think about why it could be either or. Brilliant. And 3, 2, and 1, it's actually hate speech. You are denying a particular group access to a place that is public to everyone based on a particular kind of belief or way of life that they have. So definitely hate speech. Yeah. Next.
Number 3, I do not think this route should be used for the protest as it blocks the entry to my school. So we are living in a time where there are lots of protests at the moment. Is this an example of free or hate speech? And 3, 2, 1, this is free speech. So we're at a time where there are lots of protests, but this is an example of freedom of speech. We're saying that you don't want them to be protesting there, it's blocking your entry to school, maybe that's really annoying, that's absolutely fine.
And next one, I'm not sure if this is our last one. They call it a peaceful religion. People should not be able to practice this faith in this country. And we'll give you 3 seconds to make up your minds. And 3, 2, and 1. It's actually hate speech. Again, relating back to someone having a specific belief or a way of life, and being told that they kind of being denied practice or kind of operate No, being denied to practice it in public is definitely an issue.
And we know from the Equality Act that all religions are protected and should be able to practice in this country, which is really important to remember.
Brilliant. And oops, I think we've got one more. Great.
One more. So I'm furious about the new laws imposed in the country and I strongly oppose them. 3, 2 and 1. I feel like that was an easy one. Obviously, free speech, as we said before, you can have a political opinion. I feel like sometimes people get really angry when we talk about free and hate speech because they feel like their freedom of expression is being infringed upon by these laws, but we really want to make it clear that you can have a political opinion.
Absolutely. Next time when we're back, we want to challenge you further into looking at how these, firstly, how hate speech can be used on a kind of a wide or mass platform, and how these ideas can impact the community into shaping their perception of other communities, and also the dangers of spreading false information. So looking forward to seeing you next time, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.